All right. I hereby call this regularly scheduled Carbon County School District 2 Board of Trustees meeting to order. First item of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance. Ms. Wells, would you mind?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get into the agenda, so Bill McPherson was going to be in on Zoom, correct? Yes, and then did I hear something about maybe Stephen and Laura?
Stephen and Laura are also here.
Okay. Audience, I guess there's nobody, but that way everybody knows who's kind of in attendance with this. Okay.
Mr. Chair,
They both waved at us.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the agenda as amended. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda as amended. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 3 does not look like we have any recognitions or presentations. Anybody from the audience, much of an audience today, other than people that are, you guys obviously. Correspondence. Sorry.
I would like to say
Yes,
thank you
ahead.
to you guys again for helping me get home the other night. That eased my mind a lot. Thank you so much.
Okay, item 6A, Dr. Copeland, resignations.
We have a resignation from Kinsey Strauch. Her letter is attached, and I believe her family is expanding, and she's choosing to take a break. So she's teaching 5th grade at Hannah Elementary right now, but this is her resignation.
Chairman, I move that we accept the resignation of Kenzie Stroud and thank her for her service.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the resignation of Kinsey Stroud and thank her for her service. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item B, track.
This is just the annual track listing of coaches that we know of as of now.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the 2021-2022 track coaching activity extra duty contract listing.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the 2021-2022 track coaching extra duty contracts. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item C.
This is to offer a contract to Mackenzie Ratness for the coming year as the 2nd 6th grade teacher, pending certification. She has done para work for us for multiple years and has done some this year. She's actually doing her student teaching right now this semester and will finish. So,
Anything to add about Ms. Ratness?
You know, she's done a good job. She's working exceptionally along. JD and the crew interviewed her, and she's excited to be going to 6th grade.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we offer Mackenzie Rackness a contract for the 2022-2023 school year. Current assignment will be 6th grade SES SMHS pending certification.
second.
It's been moved and seconded to offer the contract to Mackenzie Rackness for the 2022-2023 school year. Current assignment in 6th grade at Saratoga Elementary, pending certification. Yeah, I'm excited to see her get that job too. It's fun to see us developing internal people to fill jobs. Super exciting.
She's awesome.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 7A, superintendent report. Dr. Copeland.
Mine is very short. Enrollment, we are down 7 from a month ago, plus 1 from a year ago. We gained a few students this week that this number does not reflect, so we're basically about the same and have been between 590 and 610 most of the year. You can see the differences in the attendance areas down there that I list. COVID update, this will be the last update because we're pretty much done with any contact tracing. Our numbers have been very, well, really, we've been very fortunate. Our numbers have consistently been low. I think the highest we ever got to was like 18 to 20 at one point. So basically, if you feel like coming and you don't want to have fever, come. If you're sick, stay home. It's going to be like anything else that we normally deal with. So that's good news. The Northern Elementary LED lighting bid, I just wanted to have in the record that Fremont was the low bid and had been awarded the bid, and they're beginning their preliminary work on that retrofit lighting project at the 3 elementary schools up north, and about half of that is being paid for by a grant. So just wanted to get that in there because we did open those bids and just to get that information in there. That's my report.
No principal reports this time. Robin, you have some special ed?
Mine's also pretty short this month. A lot of my focus has been on just several student situations. I know that Dr. Copeland briefed you on some of those, so if you have any questions, just let me know about that. Other things for SPED, staffing, we've been kind of looking at where we're at for next year. We do know we're going to have to hire possibly 3 new teachers just based on enrollment numbers. And then some people leaving for their families and things like that. So we're moving a couple people around and then looking to hire 3. So if you know anybody, please send them our way. And then the last thing for special ed is our 684 report is coming soon. There's been a couple changes when it comes to the SPED part of that. One of them is that it's actually required that we report on our SPED students in the spring, where before we only reported on them in the fall and summer, and now we have to do all 3 rounds. And then they also changed the way that we enter students into our power school for special education when they come from out of state. So this is going to be kind of the trial run on if their program works with how we've been entering them. So I'm hoping we don't have 10,000 errors because of that, but we'll see. Just other things going on. I didn't put this in here, but for our EL kids, we just finished access testing. So thanks to Drew, he kind of bailed me out. I started it and then ran out of time. So he went in and finished for me. So we tested all of those kids. Each of the tests took pretty close to about 2 hours per kid. So those kids powered through and they did a good job and they worked really hard on it. So kudos to them. And then the last thing, we did just get back from a Title I conference. It was in New Orleans. I did bring you all beads, so help yourself from that. When we planned it, we didn't know it was Mardi Gras, but surprise, we got a little bit of culture while we were there. The conference was awesome though. It was 3.5 days. It was from about 7:30 in the morning till 5 at night, depending on the day. And it was everything from writing grants and grant monitoring, literacy, math instruction, leadership, equity, just teaching like trauma-informed teaching and teaching kids in poverty. And it was phenomenal. So when that comes up, again, it's a yearly conference, but if people want to go, it's highly recommended. It was great. So any questions for me about this one?
684 report, what exactly is that?
Maybe Sally can talk a little bit more about it, but it takes our kids and it's the way that we get our funding, right? And so it compares how many students are enrolled and then if they are a SPED student, because we get a different dollar amount for those students, and then it compares their start date and what kind of instruction they're getting and how many related services they're getting and
whether free or reduced lunch or not, ethnicity, can't think what else it has in it, but it's more
the enrollment that they're
how old are they enrolled in the right grades? Sometimes that's a check. What classes they're enrolled in if they're secondary. That's what
Okay, sounds pretty detailed.
Yeah, it's a student population report to the WDE, basically.
Okay, thank you.
We, a lot of times when we pull it up the first time, it does show us that we have thousands of errors and it's really kind of scary, but then as soon as you start going through, you can pick one box and it takes out 15 errors, so it's just kind of going through and making sure we line up with everybody.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks,
All
Brian.
right, thank you.
Okay. Next is Mr. Manning's report.
And he is not here. He had an appointment on the Front Range and some of the closures. He says he might be here about 4:30, but you can read his report. There's no point in me reading it. Or if you have questions, I can pass it along to Noel, or you can ask him if he does make it later on, a little bit later on. But nothing major in here that I've seen over.
Anybody want to discuss anything on there?
I had one comment as I was reading that. He was talking about looking at dual enrollment. I don't think a whole lot of detail about what they were looking at.
We're trying to streamline some of the issues we've had with Western Enrollment's new system of enrollment and then the communication between all of the people that are involved, because BOCES is involved, our counselors are involved, Western Wyoming's involved. So we have a meeting set up. And I think Cassie was going to try to join that meeting with Western Wyoming people and all of our people here to just kind of try to make sure we're all on the same page. There's just been some communication issues. We're just trying to work through that.
Okay.
I can tell you, having a kid that's dual enrolled, he's had, Amy and him have gone nuts trying to get codes to work. The professors are awesome, but it's just kind of the tech part of it.
It's that, and I do think it's partly their new registration system that puts a lot more of the inputting on students and counselors rather than just giving them a list of students to go in this course and then they can just handle it, which is some of the way it's been done in the past. And so anyway, we're just working through some things and hoping to get that done a little bit better.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Thanks, Joe. Okay, we do not have unfinished business or new business at this meeting. So we go to the item 10 consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item 11A, treasurer's report.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, your general fund balance at the end of January was $5,826,450.75. You can see there the revenue and reimbursed expenses for the month of January. We did still receive a significant amount of tax revenue from the Carbon County Treasurer this month, and plus our foundation payment. And you see there in section 3 how your money is invested at the various rates. We do still have a significant amount invested in WildStar, which gives us the best rate right at this point in time. I can't get any CDs or anything other than that. So, any questions regarding the general fund? Okay. Your other funds financial report, you can see in the top section your grant funds and what money is left available to spend through those funds as of January 31st. You see your comparison between January 2021 and January 2022 payroll. And I did look at the difference between the two payrolls, and the significant amount was from the virtual education that we were doing at this time last year, the CBVE, classroom-based virtual education. There we go, get the acronym right. But that was about $38,000 in and of itself for salaries for last year at this time. You see there your Parkinson and Globe Memorial Scholarship Funds, and there were no new scholarships issued during the month of January. Then you have your balances and interest and revenue transfers for your employee benefit, your major maintenance, capital construction, depreciation reserve, lunch fund, encampment activity fund, HANA activity fund, and the Saratoga activity fund. Any questions regarding your other funds as reported? Were there any questions regarding the summaries for revenues and expenses? I think we're right on track. Our revenues are up and our expenditures are up a little bit less than our revenues are up, so I think we're in good shape. Okay. That concludes my report.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, the Bills Committee and I met with Sally and she answered our questions. She is going to check on some stuff on the electricity bills for us and get back to us. But otherwise, I move that we approve the following bills. General fund, $242,241.06. Federal fund, $69,854.11. Major maintenance fund, $55,981.96. Hot lunch fund, $36,920.60. Encampment activity account, $9,908.55. Hannah activity account, $5,416.35. Saratoga Schools activity account, $15,620.50. For a total of $435,943.13.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the bills in a grand total of $435,943.13. All in favor, say aye. Okay. March Bills Committee is Miller, Condit, and Joe. Okay. Moving on to items from the board, number 12A is reviewing the board governance leadership policy tab 1.08 that has to do with development and adoption of policies. How many concerns, issues, concerns with the move on to the other policies to review. So that this came out after you guys had a activity committee meeting.
This was just, trying to get the middle level athletics policy to agree kind of with what we really have been doing, to kind of clarify it. So it had to do with the season beginnings, and then the culminating event that we had 2 tournaments, including the culminating conference tournament per season, and then the number of games. And then an additional 2 games that may be scheduled if they numbered 15 or more. This was to try to help Saratoga with the C teams, the numbers they had, to try that they could schedule some extra games for them if possible, if they could find them. And whoever was there, who was there, Karen? And if I'm leaving something out, is there something that we, I think that pretty well sums it up. So that's basically just kind of revising that, very minor ways to just kind of agree with what we've been doing. So that's IGDL. And that's a policy, so I guess that could be approved on the first reading since it's minor changes. So that will need a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the changes to policy IGDL as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the changes to policy IGDL regarding middle level athletics as presented. Any discussion, further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The next 2 are regulations, so it's kind of more informational, but you certainly have the authority to tell us not to make these. There's only one change in both of these, and the tip had been limited to 15%, and now if you go anywhere, the minimum, at least in the automated stuff, is 18. We just changed it to 18. So
The only thing I saw in there when I was reading it is in the out-of-state section, just to also change it from 15 to 18 towards the.
oh yeah, we missed that.
Sorry about
Thanks.
that. Thank you.
So we'll change those. And that'll be it. Okay, that's it.
All right. R1 is just the same thing.
Yeah, just the 18%.
And then the activity rules. Changes. Okay.
Is it hard, Sally, for them to stay within the $10 per meal thing?
Depends on whether they're eating pizza or steak.
Well, I didn't know like a lot of with everything going up, I just didn't know if, do you ever change that, or how do you look at that, or what?
Yeah, practice-wise, they're probably closer to $12 to $13 per meal. I mean, that could legitimately be raised due
Some
to
of,
the increase.
and some of these are supplemented by like booster clubs, the new
Yeah,
club, and so
yeah.
that's one way they keep it below, they tend below, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But,
That's exactly right. And I don't see them, if they're being paid by an activity,
yeah, you don't see that
I don't see
difference.
them and I don't regulate those. If they want to pay $15 a meal under their activity money that they've raised, they can spend that money how they see fit. If they're gonna pay it from general fund, then I'll try to, that's usually when they buy pizzas, when they pay it from the general.
Because we even got pizza last time. I got pizza for like the middle school booster club, did pay for it, but it was closer to $12 a kid even for pizza, so that's why I was wondering.
Well, meals have gone up just in the last 2 or 3 months pretty significantly.
Yeah.
Gone out to eat.
Yeah.
I mean, just in the last couple of months, it's really gone up, I've noticed.
If you've got since you've got that in front of you, if you wanted to change it, that would be a good time.
And it's a regulation, so I mean, if you have suggestions, we can change it at some point, or if you want to give input, or now, you know, either way.
I mean, it does say it should cost less than $10. It doesn't say it has to.
True, good point.
So, I mean,
They
like, so you
try to
encourage
stick
you to.
very to it, though.
Yeah, they do. That's generally a McDonald's stop.
Yeah.
Pizza Hut, Domino's.
And if you think, like, we spend a large amount at McDonald's, even for, you know, I just didn't know with everything going up, if that was becoming an increasing problem for them trying to.
I would say so, yes. I think your administrators could tell you that, yes, it is a problem to stay within that $10 range. They do try, but it doesn't always work.
Is it affordable to raise it?
Yes, because we pay it now. They still have to stay within their budgets, their budget allowances that I give them. And so, you know, they manage that as far as what they're paying for their travel for activities through what they budget for their travel for basketball, for their travel for volleyball. The schools manage that. I don't hold my thumb on it and say you can only spend $100 per meal. They manage that and they have to watch their budget. And that's where they start working with their supplemental income from their activities, is once they max out their budget in the general fund, then they're working with those activity budgets. But you know, even if you wanted to hold their feet to the fire in their activity budget, it would behoove you to have a policy or regulation that fits the practice, just like you just did for IGDL. You know, have a policy that fits your practice, or a regulation that fits your practice. And so $12 or $13 would probably be more within the practice.
And state money doesn't come out of their budget, correct? Or does it still, it comes from?
Well, it doesn't come out of their budget. Like we had in the Bills Committee, we had some items for state football for encampment that were charged to football, and then I have a budget that I can move money from that budget to cover whatever they spend on state expenses. So it does come out of general fund, but they don't have to take it out of their allowance. We bump their budget at the district level so that they have money to pay for state events, culminating state events.
Bottom line, we do spend more on activities than the state model gives us, you know, because of our 3 schools, which we've all talked about before.
Yeah.
But I certainly have no issue with raising it to 12. Everybody thinks that's a good thing. We'll just raise it to 12.
Well, you know, even for a Subway sandwich is $13.50.
It was to get the 6-inch.
Yeah, get the 6-inch. Yeah. You need 4 old big football boys, a 6-inch sandwich will be gnawing on the seats before they get home. I would even say take it as high as $15.
Change it to whatever.
Just seeing I know they try, if they're staying overnight and it's multiple, they try to find at least one good meal. I mean, most time it's McDonald's, Wendy's, stuff like that for the lunch, but they do try to find a decent meal for them. And so it kind of balances a little bit, because the Wendy's or the McDonald's is gonna be around that $9-10 thing. But if you bumped it to 12, they're staying $3 under the 12, which then means their good meal could be around that 15. But I think at 12 would balance things out and also keep them under control of we're going Applebee's for every meal. So.
I don't know, do you eat Applebee's for $15?
Should you eat Applebee's is the better
Yeah.
question.
A lot of it has to be where you are too.
Yeah, a lot of
It's
it.
I
almost
mean, like
like.
for us, when we're going to Lander tomorrow,
Yeah.
there is nothing you can Lander, except, I mean, you got Subway, you got Taco John's, you got McDonald's, that's pretty much it.
Have a breadboard.
Again,
Alright, let's
But
just
I might
decide
say
on
we just give the
that.
children.
But we went
all my
to there
children.
and it was almost $12.
Unbelievable.
That's why.
Hey, Karen.
What do you want to
I agree with JD on 12, but
Remember the comment?
that's more like an after.
12, 12.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm just hungry or something, that sounds pretty good.
I think you've heard enough from 12.
Do we have to have a motion?
No. It's a regulation. It's a regulation.
We'll get that.
Okay. Moving right along, item C, Georgia, do you have anything to report?
Well, I have Dana attached the Dan Mayor's board report. So if you just look on there, he talks a little bit about the Wyoming legislature and kind of some of those that they hope that we would support, and kind of goes into that. The LEA status, he talks about that more in a different part of the agenda, and I just says that the bill designates BOCES to be LEAs for specific funding purposes, but the bill failed to be introduced, so he's talked to some representative and Ryan Farmer and they're considering recommending the issue as an interim education topic. Because they're in, BOCES isn't funded the same way as schools, and so and then also he will be, I know he reached out at some point coming to ask for
What is LEA? Local education, each school district's an LEA. And that has to do with getting, if they were designated as an LEA, they could apply for federal grants, just like a school district can. The controversy was, I think it was a little unclear whether if they, so like the state of Wyoming gets a set amount for like Title II, or Title I, if they were added as an LEA, would that lessen everybody's allotment? That was the whole discussion, and I don't know that anybody knew for sure, to be honest, but that's why they're gonna punt that to the interim topic and try to do a little more research.
Unless you guys have questions.
So item D, we added a legislative update. Casey and Joe were over there. Also, Casey's our legislative liaison.
So we discussed a ton of bills, but I think the main one that we're still there's like two. The main two that we're still looking for is obviously the ECA. Where is that, Sally? Well, I've got a different list than you probably.
Yeah, and I guess I have a text from my business manager people, and they're discussing the ECA bill on the floor right now.
Yeah.
Right, live right now.
Okay. Email
Uh,
our reps to say,
Yeah, which, I mean, Jerry's never one that we worry about, it's always Larry. So I emailed Larry and, said consider it, but he said, thanks.
at least it,
Yeah, and then the other one, I guess, there were several that we were looking at, the absenteeism and truancy kind of went by the wayside. That was more of like, they said a juvenile justice bill rather than a school board issue. It'll probably come back, don't you think, at some point? And then the Civics Transparency Act, which is basically critical race theory bill in not so many terms. They've debated and debated that, and I think it died. No, it didn't die, but they took critical race theory out. Now they're debating on how they want it to look, but what Brian Farmer told us was that literally any teacher that teaches anything of civics, whether it's the Constitution, any of that kind of stuff, has to post every piece of information that they're using. So if it's a YouTube video, if it's a article out of Saratoga Sun, it's super cumbersome, and it's gonna be really, it's gonna strangle down a lot of that stuff that's taught, so I don't know how this is all gonna shake out. They're really arguing it.
What they did in Senate Ed this morning is they passed that bill out of committee with a due pass 4-1, moving the effective date down to 2023 so that they would have time to look at the bill and look at the details of the bill in the interim. But I think once it hits the floor, I don't know how far it'll go. Once it's for Senator Rothfuss was adamant that it not even come out of committee.
I think it passed the Senate. I think I
Yeah.
saw a blurb
It
today.
did today that it
But
passed
then
the
it goes
Senate.
to the House. The Supes in their meeting this morning, the Zoom meeting, were speaking against this, just the adding work for the teacher workload that they've already been.
And then, of course, I emailed Brian and said, you know, this is a local control thing. I think every school board and every district should handle this rather than it be a state statute. And he pretty much got shut down on that, right, Sally?
Yes.
From the legislature.
Yeah.
Senator Scott got his testimony short this morning.
They don't like to hear local control over there. Other than that, I think that's it, don't you, Sally?
I think so.
Joe?
That's pretty good.
Yeah, there was nothing else that was super pressing. I mean, that redistricting, where's that at? I didn't look at that. I mean, our reps might be shuffling around a little bit. That's not gonna make a difference for us, but just so you know, we may end up gaining one over by Rock River. So that is all. It was a pretty good, but it was really quick. I mean, they just flew through these bills. So they were trying to teach everybody more how to use that legislative website, which was actually pretty good going through it. Anyway.
Thank you both for going on.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Especially if it's been the last couple of weeks. Okay, item E, board member comments. Karen, you can go first. So you don't have to repeat anybody.
Sure. I want to thank all the candidates that applied and interviewed for superintendent search. Convenient timing. To thank our bus drivers for driving in these terrible roads that we've been having lately and getting our kids to and from school. Good luck to the state wrestlers and regional basketball. Thanks to Kenzie for her service. Thank you, Dana, for all your hard work and doing everything for us and holding our hands through everything through the superintendent search. We couldn't have done it without you.
Okay, again, thanks for the candidates, but also thank you to fellow board members that have been driving through these nasty roads and spending time up in Hannah, and that's appreciated. You know, all the fun and kidding aside, you know, it was great to see you guys up north, and to be up there was pretty cool. Bus drivers, yeah, absolutely, thank you for driving these roads, the wind, the cold, you know, the route drivers that gotta get up in the morning, go out and start the buses when it's 15 below zero. I mean, good for those guys. Good luck to the basketball teams and regionals, and also state wrestlers.
Yeah, I'm just pretty much piggybacking off of them. Dana, I appreciate that, all those comments you sent yesterday. I can't even imagine trying to type that up, so thank you so much on that. It's been an interesting couple weeks with you guys. I've enjoyed it. I always learn a lot from these, and a lot of stuff I don't want to learn. Good luck all the teams, state, regionals, state wrestling, regional basketball, and go Pokes.
Yeah, the only thing I have to add to what everybody else has said is I want to especially thank all of the community members, the staff members, and the administration for their feedback, their comments, all of those things, because it helps us as a board to make a good decision, because where many advisors are present, the chances of us making a good decision are enhanced. And so thank you.
Yeah, I will mimic the same things. Thank you to the candidates. Good luck to the athletes. Thank you to Dana and to Nanette. I know she was at all the candidate forums and videoing everything and making sure we all had access to what was going on, so I really appreciate that. And again, just mimic what Joe said in particular, thank you to all the stakeholders that have provided so many comments. Those were just really helpful, and it was nice to have a lot of involvement and feedback.
Yeah, echo a lot of the same stuff. Thanking the candidates that applied, but I've loved going through this, this search process for the superintendent. I think it's been really good for me to be in touch with the different communities in the district, and I just really, I'd echo what Joe said, thank the staff and the communities for their feedback and their input and taking the time out to come out and evaluate and help us make informed decisions about this thing. Thanks to the bus drivers as well, and then the building people that have been moving snow and keeping things going for these teachers, staff, and students, and then also Dana. Yeah, I mean, can't thank you enough for really providing us with all the help to get this deal done. Very appreciated.
Very good. Really enjoyed the junior high basketball tournament down in encampment. That was a lot of fun. The last game was pretty intense with bags, but all the games were fun. It was just a fun day to be down there and cheer for all the kids. The process, nothing's always perfect, and sometimes we wish we could be better at things. But at the end of the day, I think we'll be happy with the result. And I think part of that is that, really appreciated all the staff comments. I appreciate them coming in early and staying late to meet with them. And, from my perspective, at least, maybe the candidates thought they were super long days. But being able to get more input from the staffs in each building, I think was really good. A lot of comments, the comments are what's particularly helpful. And I think there's things that come out of it that we learn and read that aren't just related to this search, right? So you get some insight. I appreciate JD, sharing some insight with us about questions. And so hopefully it maybe opened our eyes, or brought more things for us to think about, which in addition to just the search. And so, Nanette, thanks for coming up and doing everything. Dana for talking to me on the phone almost every day.
Pretty much about the same everyone said. Just to add on, thanks to the schools, the staff, students, everyone that gave the tours and interviewed the candidates, that's awesome. And I'm sure it was a little bit disruptive at the schools for you, but I think it was a great thing to be able to get that feedback from each attendance center. So that's very helpful to us. Also the moderators that did the community forums. So Deb Riker and Jackie Jones, thank you to them for doing that, because that took time out of their personal lives, and we appreciate them doing that. Good luck to our state wrestlers, regional basketball, and bus drivers. Obviously these roads are a little treacherous right now.
It's really hard to follow up with what your last line. Dana, I do appreciate you, and I think you got above and beyond. And so we all appreciate that. I appreciate the other board members, the experience each of you bring, I think is invaluable for everything that we do here, so thank you all. Just, everybody's already been thanked that I can think of. I want to touch with the bus drivers. I do appreciate them staying sober, not running us into the ground like Cheyenne did, so I do appreciate that.
We're gonna bring that one up.
That's legit, right there.
It is legit.
Especially at 7
I think it's worse in the afternoon when the kids are just ready to be gone. Okay, thanks, Charlie. Okay. Just to know, as you can see on the agenda, we're not having 2 separate executive sessions, partly because, we met last night and decided not to interview any more candidates. So we'll just do that all at one time. We may, I didn't specify this, Dana, but when we come out of executive session, we may swap A and B. I meant to have that the superintendent one first and then the principal and central office, but that, I didn't specify that, so that's probably what will happen.
Good. Mr. Chairman, I move that we move into executive session to discuss personnel.
It's been moved and seconded to go into executive session to discuss legal issues and personnel issues considered confidential by law, specifically tendering offers for the administrative contracts and superintendent. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'll second that.
I'm sorry.
Well, I thought I wrote the next second.
Oh, did Nick second? I didn't hear him. I just heard you get do the motion. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
I was like ready to start.
Thank you for the honor.
Okay, to be
Second.
Move a second to come out of executive session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Something about the minutes.
Approve the minutes.
Approve the minutes. Okay,
We're waiting a minute.
we good?
Hold on.
We back live and then,
Yes.
okay. Wait a second till Casey's ready. We are now on item 15. Consider the principal, central office, and basically superintendent contracts. You're gonna do item B first and then item.
Ready?
So item B would be offering the superintendent contract.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we offer Darren Jennings the superintendent contract. It'd be a yearly contract, so it'd be 22-23 year for the Kerwin County School District number 2.
Second.
So moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? I would say no, we appreciate you putting in, and I feel like all of us learned something through the process and visiting with you that, as we said, we don't want to forget those things. So thank you, and we will put ourselves out there. Anything, anybody else? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, Darren. We will get with you later about specifics of that. Thank you for that. Also appreciate you.
Thank you both. It's a learning experience, even though we know you really well. We thought. Mr. Chairman, we'll move on to the administrative team. I make a motion that we offer Sally Wells, a business manager contract for 2022-23 year.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to offer Sally Wells the contract as business manager for the 22-23 school year. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Good. All right.
Too bad.
Thank you there.
Try to get this away, we'll find out.
You know Rollins is open.
Yeah.
We didn't know that. We'll find out.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we offer Andy Ward, the network manager contract for the 22-23 school year.
Move to second to offer Andy Ward the network manager contract for the 2022-2023 school year. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we offer Noel Manning the curriculum director contract for the 22-23 school year.
Second.
Move to second that we offer Noel Manning the curriculum director contract for the 2022-2023 school year. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we offer Robin Brown the special ed director contract for the 22-23 school year.
Second.
Move and seconded to offer Robin Brown the special ed director contract for the 2022-2023 school year. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we offer Drew Leach the school psychologist contract for the 2022-2023 school year.
Second.
Move and seconded to offer Drew Leach the contract for the 2022-2023 school year as district psychologist.
Sorry, that was supposed to be district.
Yeah, it's my bad. I thought I missed it. I didn't know you said.
No, you were right.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we offer Mike Erickson the principal of encampment for the 2022-2023 school year.
Second.
Moved and seconded to offer Mike Erickson the contract for the principal at Encampment School for the 2022-2023 school year. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed? Motion carries. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we offer Stephen Priest.
Are they on Zoom? Stephen and Lauren on?
Yeah, they were.
Okay.
Yes, they're still here.
Okay.
Okay. I move that we offer Stephen Priest the HEM high school principal contract for the 2022-2023 school year.
Second.
It's moved and seconded to offer Stephen Priest the principal contract for HEM for the 2022-2023 school year. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we offer Laura Neiswinder the contract for HES, EM, and MD principal for the 2022-2023 school year.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to offer Laura Neiswinder the contractor for the North End Elementaries for the 2022-2023 school year. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We done? No?
Yeah, we should be done.
Only if we were short.
Considering the Ram shirt, I make a motion that we offer JD Johnson the SMHS principal contract for the 2022-2023 school year.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all for all the work you've been doing and everything you've contributed to our district. As such, obviously, we will need to start with a search for a principal at Saratoga Elementary School. We're working on that. Obviously, our new superintendent-elect, or Hofford, or whatever, and current principal will play a part in that. We have no other business. The next meeting date.
Laura would like to thank everybody for their support. She chatted with me. I mean, she sent it as a chat.
Next, regularly scheduled board meeting is Monday, March 21st, 4 PM at Saratoga Middle High School. There will be no other special meeting if we don't need it. Meeting adjourned.
Thanks, Romy, it's here by Zoom.
Thanks, Stephen. Thanks, Laura. Thanks, Bill.